But all the way up in the top of the stage, up there, way up there, was the DJ, Jam Master Jay. And when I seen that, and I seen him chicka, run.
He was doing that live?
Chicka. Yeah.
That's
like
crazy.
If you ever go check the movie out, Crush Groove.
I've seen it.
And you'll see him doing
one of my favorites.
Run. And then, and then it's not DJ is my name, and Jam Master is his. It's like that, and that's the way it. As a matter of fact, I did that at a battle. I battled against the dude named DJ Tech. I know you probably
know Tech.
Yeah, and I did that during that. So when I seen that, every one of us has that moment when we see something or we experience something, we like, that's what I want to do.
I've been through a lot. But only one thing ever really sticks to me. No matter what I go through, it always affects me. When I hustle up or don't have a dime, I'ma go mine. Good times and the bad times, they heavy on my mind. Tapered up or I'm starched down. Either way is mine. I feel fine, but everything around affect my vivid mind.
Welcome to a Vivid Mind podcast. I am Sid, your host, aka King Dope, the king of all things dope. This is the official podcast of our luxury lifestyle brand, Young and Cultured. So, like always, along my path to my first $1 million, I like to introduce y'all to people who are shaking things up. Sometimes it's the young, youthful, doing something new, and then it's somebody who gives a refreshing take on something old. And what I can tell you is, as long as I can remember, I knew this man's name. I didn't even know his face. I knew his name, I knew his voice, and I knew what he did. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my audience to the legend of the mob town, DJ Rodski. Rodski was happening.
What's going on, brother? Peace and blessings.
So, before we get into anything hefty, I like to, break the tension in the room, bring a little comedic fun.
Okay.
With a little game.
Okay.
A game I like to call Dumb Questions for Smart People.
Oh, I ain't smart. So we're going to be like Dumb Questions for Dumb People. Go ahead,
All
bro.
right, let's see how this go.
All right.
If you had a time machine, would you travel to the future or back to the past?
Definitely to the future. Absolutely to the future. We know what the past is. If we repeat the past, it's bound to happen again because our past as black people has been regulated to slavery and injustice and genocide. We definitely got to go to the future because I'm always thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Do you consider yourself lucky or always prepared?
Always prepared, but I ain't just got like that. I used to think it was luck until I got unlucky. and when I realized and had to do some self-analysis about why I was unlucky or why things didn't happen the way I wanted to happen, I realized preparation is the key to everything that we do in order to be prepared. When you're prepared, everything runs so much smoothly.
That's very true. That's very true. All right. So now I got to ask the infamous question for my channel. You ready for this one?
I don't know, brother. We gonna see.
Who would win in a fight between Iron Man and Batman?
I think probably Iron Man.
Why Iron Man?
Because he's made out of iron, and we know that iron is one of the hardest substance that's a raw substance that's in this universe. Batman has a cape on. He has some stuff that's been man-made. Iron is not man-made.
Okay. All right. So to play Heaven's Advocate,
Okay.
they're both pretty much the same character
Okay.
from two different comic book eras. You know, Both of them lost their parents. Both of them are billionaire playboy philanthropists. Now, Bruce don't really play on it, but however, we seen all them women following him.
Yeah.
You know, Tony plays directly into it.
Oh, absolutely. He's a ladies' man.
That's most definitely him.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, hand to hand, right? Batman is more equipped martial arts wise.
Okay.
But Tony got them weapons.
Yeah.
You still feel like Iron Man wins.
I still feel like Iron Man wins.
I can't do nothing but respect that.
He chopped Batman head off. Cause that cape, if you look at Batman's cape, it only goes right here. He always got that neck piece available. So if he got that neck, we can get some iron and chop that head. Nobody ever goes for the head.
That's true.
Chop the head off, the body will follow.
That's true. All day long.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
I like this game. We ain't under no clock. I feel like we on Jeopardy, bruh.
So this is what the people want to know. The people want to know, like, do you know you're a legend?
I think I'm creating a legacy, a legend. When you put legend on it, that putting a period on it. I think you cannot judge a thing until it's stopped and everything is in motion, just like people. When we try to judge people, and until we die, until our existence stops, then we're still in motion. We still have room to grow. We still have room to do whatever. So until there's a period put on the end of my name, I don't think I'm a legend. I think I'm just creating a legacy for the next generation.
Okay. Was that intentional?
No. Nothing I'm doing is intentional. Everything, brother, I'm 56 years old. I done came from smoking weed and drinking and all that for about 45, almost 50 years to coming into another reality. A reality that I got tired of chasing my tail and expecting something different to happen. Along the way, God has always equipped me with an anointing to DJ and to bring the gift that I had to people, to help people to be happy. You know, music is universal. But inside myself, just like all of us, we have those hypocrisies in us, those demons, that higher and that lower self that is constantly fighting. And until I submitted my will totally and decided, you know, I'm going to let all that stuff go because I was looking for something higher, because I guess that calling was all on each and every one of us. We always get that thing saying, you know you ain't right. You know something you ain't doing right. You know you should be doing more. You know you should. And we constantly doing that. But, you know, we living in a time now where we're being pulled by all kind of situations, subliminal messages, our people, our life, and everything, and we're always running, and we think like we just running this life, and we don't have no time because we don't have time to sit and think. But until I was able to give up certain things that I know that was stagnating my growth, I was able. Everything slowed down for me, and when it slowed down, I was able to take that time out. I'm Muslim, so I pray 5 times a day. So those times that I pray in the morning at 4:45 in the morning to noon, to early afternoon, to late afternoon, to the sunset, and then before I go to sleep, those slow me down and keeps me in remembrance of God, not a spook God in the sky, but the God inside me. And when I'm able to do that, it keeps me conscious and it slows me down and it helps me to think and it gives me vision. And it's like no other feeling. And then I'll be like, man, I waited all this time to get this kind of information and to get this spirituality, not necessarily religion. But we all have that time when that light goes off, like these lights out. When that light goes off, we say, this is what I need to be doing. This is what my purpose is. And that time came about a year and a half ago. Wow. When I decided, you know, I was tired of doing what I was doing, and I gave it up. And like I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm not a holy roller. I'm not gonna sit here and say Jesus this, Jesus not God this, and God. No, I let my walk
do the talking.
Yeah,
and that's what we all about here.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I let my walk do the talking, brother. And I feel like the more I walk, and instead of me always asking for God to give me something, I ask God to let me be a blessing to somebody.
Yeah.
I asked him to guide my talk, my thoughts, my walk, my thinking, my seeing, and to give me wisdom. And ever since I've done that and I submitted to him and I think on another plane, he's given me all these different tools in order to equip me to fight the good fight. And that's I'm here to serve his people.
Yeah.
And the people that look like me.
Exactly.
You know, and ever since then, man, it's just been a blessing, man. And I don't take for granted every day because, you know, we always have been taught that, you know, it's a better life when we die. But like Sam Cooke said, he said, I don't know what's up in the sky. I'm afraid to die. He said, I'm afraid to die because I don't know what's up there beyond the sky.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. That's how I feel. It's been a long time coming, but right now I'm in the place and I'm in my purpose and I'm here to serve God's people. And right now I'm with young people, young black men and young black women, young girls that are barely in survival mode. Mm-hmm. That's why I sit in where we are right now. We're at the Taylor Park where I do my summer program, and I know I'm in the right place at the right time.
That's correct. That's correct, man. Listen, this man is so passionate about what he does. We ain't even got into who he is yet. He's so passionate about what he does that he telling you all of the reason why he is passionate. He ain't talked about himself for real at all yet. He's discussed his disciplines. He discussed his respect for God. He discussed the respect for himself, his community, and his people, and his upliftment of them. He wants to help build them. I'm just making sure y'all are digesting what he is saying. Like, as you guys know, as my audience, we are a Christian platform, but we respect all people, whether you agree with us or not, because the true walk of Christianity is to respect people where they are and be a light, be a connector, be a communicator, and disrupt the system where there is a problem. But you can only disrupt if you have a solution. You can't be disrupting just to be disrupting, because that is chaos, anarchy. And we don't believe in chaos and anarchy because our God is a God of order, structure.
Well, you dropping jewels, brother.
Hey.
First law of the universe is self-preservation. Second law is order.
That's right.
I like that.
Hey, but you just spoke on all of that.
Yes.
You know, but before you came to order, apparently you must be familiar with chaos.
Absolutely, brother. I came up in a household, man, a domestic violence household. My father left my mother when I was 6 years old and remarried, and I did like every other young black man that doesn't have a father there. You know, we go through these steps and stages and degrees of anger, abandonment, you know, alienation. And my mother remarried, and she happened to marry an abuser that did cocaine and gambled. He provided a good living, but in the meantime, during that time, he would go gamble and lose money and drink and come home on coke and high and beat the brakes off my mother.
Wow.
And being 8, 9, and 10 years old, and you're a child and you're in the bed and you hear glass break, and you wake up out of your sleep at 2 in the morning, you hear your mother in there screaming and everything, and you go in there and you see a man on top of your mother, a grown man on top of your mother with his knees on her arms where she can't move, and he punching in the face like she's a man. That's something that, you know, I had to live and go through, and my sister had to go through. And as a domestic violence victim, my mother would leave, and then he would go and say, I'm sorry, forgive me, I love you. And she would keep coming back, and he'd keep beating her, he'd keep coming back, and she'd keep beating her. And then after a while, he started taking it out on me. And he would take me to different places and beat the brakes off me. It had me so scared and afraid to tell my mother, because I know if I told her, she gonna tell him, and then he gonna come back and it's gonna get even worse. So everything I've been through, I always asked God. I always thought it was a curse. I always thought that God didn't love me because he let me go through that. But now, I feel like God doesn't put more on us than he know that we can handle.
That's very true.
I don't want to call it being a sacrificial lamb, but in order to reach the children in here and these young black men that are so angry, so hurt, because a lot of times I'm mentoring 11 and 12 young men at the same time, and I'm calling them every day, and it's a job, it's a task, but because what I've been through, it teaches me to be patient. Just like even now with our people, how they act and how they are, God always said, be patient with them, because it wasn't but a few days ago that you was the same way. You was a savage. You was a savage too, acting other than who you supposed to be. So, you know, all the hurt and all the pain, and it took my mother, him getting ready to throw my mother out a 2-story window for her to finally wake up and say, this ain't love. You know, so what I teach my young people when they come here every day, I tell them that love in the dictionary is a noun. But in real life, love is a verb.
It's actually a verb.
It's an action. And when people tell you they love you, tell them, don't tell me you love me. Show me you love me.
That's right.
You know, and I think something more interesting what you said about, you know, you being a Christian and me a Muslim, that we all have some differences, but we have some common denominators. We believe in one God. We believe in giving to the poor. We believe in treating each other equal.
We're from the same tree,
exactly.
The tree of Abraham.
But more importantly, just for us as black people, they don't look at us when they shoot us down the street and all that and say, oh, you a nigga, or you're a Christian, you're a Muslim. They look at us as the color of our skin.
That's it.
So instead of us bickering and going back and forth about the small stuff of who you are, then let's get a common denominator in who we are as a people. And our unity is more powerful. I used to always say that y'all unity is more powerful than atomic bomb. But it is.
It really is.
But until we are able to come together in that commonality, then we'll never be who we ought to be, and we'll never be able to move out and function as one unit. But like I was saying, you know, I grew up in a real bad household, and that forced me to medicate. And at 12, 13, I was smoking weed, and that I stayed medicated because you always running from that reality. Because if you sit and you got a clear mind, that makes you think.
And see, this is what you gave me so many things I could comment on. But the first thing is, the enemy does not want you to realize your true power, your true essence.
Absolutely.
He knows the God who created us all because it created him. So he knows the source of power is realizing that he is a part of your makeup.
Absolutely.
When he said, let us create man in our image and likeness, he wasn't talking about physical features. He was talking about abilities. The
mastery.
Ability to really think
and mastery.
Create.
Absolutely.
Create something out of nothing. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what he does is he do stuff like keep your stepdaddy in pain. So he doesn't show you what a strong man look like.
Absolutely.
He keeps your mama entranced with what she think love is until she realizes it isn't.
Yeah.
And it keeps you in a trance of a whirlwind of trying to stay medicated in order to deal with it all. Because if you have a sober mind, which the words say, be ye sober minded.
Yes.
It'll make you more effective
Boy.
as a human.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? I just don't want nobody to think that when he said the phrase, God don't put more on you than you can bear, that God put it on him.
Yes.
No, God gave him the strength to make it through.
Absolutely.
To tell somebody. You get what I'm saying? And it's just the enemy was taking advantage of all of the stuff that was already in play.
Absolutely. Everything's been a stumbling block. You know, he keeps you stumbling, and if you medicated, you're not fixated on your purpose, and you're always stumbling, and you're always trying to figure out why. You're always depressed. You always go back and forth. You're just like a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster ride. But, you know, now that I see where I'm at and all the experiences, you know, like people, a good example is people go and they go to college and they get these master degrees and everything, and they can tell you about drugs and the effects of drugs from out of their books. But the person that already went through the drugs, they have a better experience, and they can tell you more about it. So when you're in a room full of people that have been on drugs, the person that gets up there with the book, with all the book sense and the mastery, but never did drugs, they can tell you only a certain amount.
That's right.
That person that's coming in and tell you what they done sold their body, they done sold this, they done stole, that can resonate with them. And that's my whole thing about me. I can tell you about the accolades of all the stuff out of the awards I've got, being the 1995, 96, 97 Radio Personality Year, Bill X, winning the Hazel Fourier Award from NAACP. I can tell you all those, but accolades can only do this. But when I tell you about the issues and the problem I had, that's impact. And that's how I can impact somebody, by telling you not by the things that I've done, but by the experiences. And I think if more black men would be more able and open up and not have a dam spirit. You know, a dam spirit is how the water goes, and the dam, what holds the water.
Yeah, it's blocked.
Yeah, so when we take on that position as having a damming spirit, then we hold up our spirit, and we hold up the things that can help a young man, because he can relate. We want everybody to think we just fall out of heaven. Yeah, we like this now. No, we ain't like that.
Nah.
Every day is a struggle.
You molded to be that way.
Exactly. So when I talk to these young people and I tell them about the stuff and the glass breaking and my mother getting in bed, laying in there with me, I can't even recognize her face because her face is swollen and all that. And then having to go to different cousins and different family and different neighbors' houses, stay there, and then them talking about you because they, you know, all those experiences, they feel, they understand because they live in it. So when we in here as young black people, they have these walls up because they think everybody's against them. But when you start picking at them and throwing these things at them and these truths and these experiences, the walls start coming down. And then as you see, they'll start saying, well, Mr. Rodski, man, this is what happened with me, or this is why I feel like this. And so can't nobody tell me that we can't reach them. You know, like Pluto is 7,700,000,000 miles from the sun, but it only takes a little piece of light from that sun to touch Pluto at its equator in order to make that big, heavy planet rotate. It's the same with anybody in here. Can't nobody tell me that there's nobody that can't be turned back to God. It only takes light. It only takes certain things that can touch them in order to cause them to rotate and turn on their axis and turn and see another side. Can't nobody tell me that. So all those people that say, oh, I can't do nothing with them, and the older people generation say, oh, he gone, ain't nothing. I don't believe in that. I believe every human being can be redeemed. And that's what we do. You know, we live in a world where I'm not trying to save the world, because the world don't want to be saved
at all.
But I can help change and create change for the people that I come in contact with on a daily basis, and that's who we make effective change right now, because that causes a domino effect.
You're right. That takes a big domino effect. All right, so we reached the point where I got to take a break, but you know, we coming right back. Sit tight. What's happening, family? This your boy Said, aka King Dope, the king of all things dope. I'm coming to you again, letting you know that I got something new that dropped out the sky for you, man. Hey, any one of these streaming platforms you got, letting you know we got an official album for the podcast out. Guess what? To make it easy, the podcast is called A Vivid Mind. The album is called A Vivid Mind. So all you gotta do is look up A Vivid Mind on anywhere you like to stream your music, and you'll find King Dope live and in the flesh. All right, man. I put some gems on there. Basically, it's for you to stay motivated throughout the day, for you to stay, you know, up. In the house, it was just you and your sister?
It was me, my sister, my little brother Spanky, and my little sister Nedra. My little brother Spanky, I was 11, 12, and one morning, Saturday morning, we went out and we was riding on a skateboard. And you know, when you ride a skateboard down a hill, it shakes if you're not a perfect, and then you crash and burn. Well, me and him was playing, and he jumped on my back, and we was riding down the hill on a skateboard. And he was on my back, and he had like a piggyback ride, and we lost control, and I fell frontwards, he fell back. When he fell back, he hit his head, and his brain shifted. And I didn't know. I'm 11 years old, and I got up and looked, Spanky, you okay? And he wasn't saying nothing. And then he got up, and I said, let's go home and tell mommy that, you know. And I was walking him, and every time I was walking him, he just wasn't saying nothing. His eyes kept rolling to the back of his head, and I didn't know what to do. I started panicking. So when we got home, you know, I was so scared being a young child and everything, and I told Mom, Spanky was on the skateboard, but I didn't want to tell him, you know, I would put him on my back because I was older. I said Spanky was on the skateboard, and he fell and hit his head. So my mother and them rushed him to the hospital, and they was there, and I was just like, okay, he got a head. He probably hit his head. They're going to put a bandage on there and everything. My mother was gone. They was gone all day. They was gone like till 12 or 1 in the morning. They came home. I went to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, I expected to go. I walked in there and looked, and Spanky wasn't there. And I asked my mom, where's Spanky at? She said, he's still in the hospital. She said, he's in a coma.
What?
Yeah. So she told me he was in a coma, and I was like, I didn't know what that meant, but she explained it to me. And she was like, so what happened? I was like, well, we was riding a skateboard, and I really got scared then, because, you know, that was my mother, that was my brother from my mother's husband, the new one.
The one that was so angry.
That was beating her and beating me. So I was no way I was going to tell them the truth about that, you know. So, you know, about 3 days went by, he was still in a coma, and we went to the hospital. And it was my first time seeing him since we was in the hospital, since he had the accident. And when I went in his room, I walked in the room and he was laying on his side, but he was laying on the side where I couldn't see his face. So when I went around to the other side of the bed, I looked, and they had cotton balls over his head and had his eyes taped because his eyes would stay open, but he was in a coma. And I was just, I don't know, that changed me that day. It took me somewhere really dark, really like, it just like, because it was just the weight of what happened and me knowing what happened, and I blamed myself. And about 4 days later, he died.
What?
Yeah, he died, and he never came out the coma. And my mother and them had to make the decision to take him out the machine, because they was like, if he ever comes back, he'll never come back. So he'll never come back, but he'll be in vegetative state. And they decided to pull the plug.
Wow.
Yeah, so after that, you know, my stepfather really wretched up the abuse, you know, because he was like, you know, if he wasn't with you, then he would still be alive. So anytime my mother wasn't there, he would come in there and go in on me. He cracked my ribs. He beat me. I blacked out so many times. He beat me with hangers, with belts, choked me, grabbed my hair, threw me across. All this stuff at 12, 13 years old. So, you know, that went on, and, you know, I carried that guilt. I carried that everything that was happening for about 13, 14 more years. And, you know, I'll tell you more about that, because I just want to tell you, you know, for the people out there that are carrying the weight of guilt, you know, until you're able to deal with that and release it, it's going to wreak havoc in your spirit. It's going to wreak havoc. It's going to wreak havoc in your life. You seem like you can never get your life moving forward. It's just going to always be there until you deal with it. But, you know, so, you know, I'm from New York, and we moved to Mobile when I was like 8 or 9 years old. My mother remarried, and she remarried a preacher's son. So
hold on. You leave the Big Apple.
Yes.
And you come down here to Mardi Gras Central.
Yeah, it was a cultural clash, because New York is like, and Mobile is like, that's what it's like, you know. New York, the people, they're very rude.
Yeah,
they're up front. But New York is just like, in, you know, I was born in the year. I was born in the era where hip hop was born. Hip hop was born August 11, 1973 in the Bronx, New York.
Yep, on
so I grew up
1720 Sedgwick Avenue, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my first name.
Okay.
Sedgwick.
Oh, okay.
Spelt exactly like that.
Wow,
yeah.
So that's dope.
Yeah.
So I grew up with when we was just MCs and DJs and crews and everything. And I was like 8 years old when I first started DJing. I used to carry my little cousin Booby, my big cousin, Booby's crates and records and carry him in, and he used to set up and DJ, and I used to set his stuff up for him and help him. And then he would let me DJ like every 10 to 20 minutes before he started. And I did that for so long that I like got good.
Yeah.
At an early age, I got real good. As a matter of fact, I got better than him. And he stopped letting me DJ.
Why they always do that?
I know, right? He stopped letting me DJ, but the passion that I had for hip hop and just coming from the graffiti, the break dance and everything, I brought that down here to Mobile when I moved down here. And unfortunately, Mobile was on like Luke, that bass music. So I come down here like, yo, what up, kid? What up, son? With my Adidas and my fat laces. And they like, what you doing? So when I start DJing a party, I'm playing MC Light and Dougie Fresh, and a couple of them dance.
Yeah.
And then my homeboy, he come in there, he put on, don't stop, pop that. And everybody just go crazy. I'm like, what? I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. And it took me to go down into Pecan Street to a straight radio station called WGOK.
Yeah.
And it's called Mad Hat. His name was Mad in the Morning. And he had this radio show on early in the morning on WGOK, 1800, I think 1900, WGOK. And it was called Mad in the Morning Show. And he would have this whip, and he'd play all these good songs. He'd be like, get up out that bed. He had the whip, yeah. But it was his whole brand, and he was like the man when I came down here. So I went down and saw him, and I was like, yo, I need to get some of these records, man. He was like, yeah, young brother. And he was selling me these promotional records, these 12 inches of Joy records, Luke records, Poison Clan, like a lot of stuff that many probably of your millennial readers who don't have a clue about.
They don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, Africa Bambaataa, Soul Side for Planet Rock, all these different songs that
everything I grew up off of.
Just to give you a little background, you know, that song by the city girl called Twerkulator, that instrumental, that doom, that's Planet Rock.
Yes, it is.
So,
and you've heard it in at least 15 different songs
Absolutely.
in the past 10 years.
Absolutely. So
It's always been around.
yeah, so he gave me these records, and I went home and I started getting my turntable, and I started getting these records and mastering these records, and it didn't take me long. I mastered those records, and when I got that booty shake going on, that's when
And
DJ Rodski came to the forefront, and they was like, "Yo, this dude here can get it," because I already knew how to scratch and stuff. It's just what I was playing. So I had to change my playlist in order to adapt to the down south, the southern era of booty shake music.
So I got a couple questions.
Okay.
First thing, break down the name Rodski.
Rodski. Okay, so in New York during the hip hop era, we started taking on these. I think was a synonym. A synonym is the beginning, the front, or the back.
I know the prefix is the beginning.
Yeah, it's another. I forgot.
And the suffix is the back.
Suffix. Okay, so we would take on these suffixes ski. So what's your name, young man? It'd be Rob Ski.
But why ski? What does ski break down?
Ski was just a word that meant like that's that swag, Rod Ski, Kev Ski, Melody Ski, Tim Ski.
Because I kind of heard, you tell me,
Okay.
I kind of heard from doing a little research that ski was a reference and referring back to cocaine, dope. So it's just to say you're that dope.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
that dope,
you
that.
got that swag. Yeah. So
Everybody want to hit.
yeah, exactly. And that's true. You know your history. I appreciate that because everybody don't know that. But yeah, so that's where I got the Rodski. My name is Rodney, so it made sense. DJ Rodski, and that's where I got it.
And and that's the truth about when you name stuff, you manifest things.
Yes.
That's why you should always know what names mean before you give them away.
And let me tell you, like, the reason why I really became a DJ is that my cousin and my uncle and them, they took me to Madison Square Garden, and my first time I saw Run DMC. And when I saw Run DMC, I saw Run DMC on the bottom stage, but all the way up in the top of the stage, up there, way up there, was the DJ, Jam Master Jay. And when I seen that, and I seen him chicka, run.
He was doing that live?
Chicka. Yeah.
That's
like
crazy.
if you ever go check the movie out, Crush Groove.
I've seen
and
it.
you'll see him
It's
doing
one of my favorites.
Run. And then, and then it's not DJ is my name, and Jam Master is his. It's like that, and that's the way it. As a matter of fact, I did that at a battle. I battled against the dude named DJ Tech. I know you probably
Yeah, I know Tech.
Yeah, and I did that during that. So when I seen that, every one of us has that moment when we see something or we experience something, we like, that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to do. And ever since then, I've been on a mission, and I started my mission and my journey to being a DJ, and that's where it all started out.
Funny thing, before I go to my next question, so I know you don't know because most people don't know. I'm a part-time DJ.
Okay.
So I
didn't know
actually,
that.
yeah, I actually DJ family events, weddings, those type things, because I can still play those records.
Yes.
That's the reason why.
Yes.
And for me, it's just record placement. So what I choose to play next, it's not really technical skill, but it's just the way I piece together a playlist that I have return clientele all the time. They always ask me to redo it. But when I got the bug, one of the hottest DJs down here now is DJ Black.
Yes.
That's actually my best friend.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that we co-DJ.
DJ Black is my favorite DJ.
Really?
Yeah, ask him.
That's
I
crazy.
said we did an interview where he flipped. I was interviewing DJ. He flipped it and interviewed me. I was like, he's one of my favorite, the number one favorite DJ.
So the first time me and him got really acclimated with each other, we was in high school. We went to Blunt together. We DJ'd a birthday party together with an iPod, a 6-disc changer, and a DVD player. And that's how we was mixing and crossing over records.
That's dope.
By doing that.
Yeah.
And ever since then, both of us have the bug.
Yeah.
So he's really technical, as you know.
Yes.
And he's very skillful with his blends and transitions.
Yes.
Lord have mercy, is crazy.
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff he's showing y'all, I was around for the birth of it.
Yes.
I was like, I'm the guy in the corner like, Noah, keep going, don't stop.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, but I like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm that friend, and I was always his. I'm good with technology and stuff. So most of the records, he would know the name of them. Can't find them. I was the guy who found them.
And that's crazy because, like, I've been knowing DJ Black for about 12, 13 years, and one of the people that I really trusted about, because I don't let everybody DJ for me or play for me. He was the only one, basically one of the only people that I would call and say, man, I need you, can you finish this gig for me, or can you start and then I'll be on. I trusted him because he knew music.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing about it. You have to know music. And I tell all the young DJs now, in order to make real money, you have to be versatile.
You do. You
can't just be a trap DJ, even though that's just music. But in order to expand your diaspora and get real money, where you can really ask for whatever you want, you have to open your mind up and know music. And since all of us really grew up listening to our parents' music, it shouldn't be a problem. But
they don't think about it.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
And they cut their money off.
And we used to have this one goal, which you still see him do it to this day. I give y'all this secret, since that's what we do here. Our goal is to make them make you sweat. Yes. I want you taking that wig off. I want you to lose your shoes.
Take them shoes, put them flats on.
I want you to look at me and say, can I please sit down?
Exactly.
Beg me to sit down. Absolutely. That tells me I'm doing my job.
Absolutely. Music is full of emotions. You could tell timeless music, like nobody can ever say, you put back that thing on, it always gives you the same reaction. But you have some music today that you play and you might have got that reaction in, but you don't get the same reaction. So it's certain music that is timeless. And the golden era for me was the 90s. 90s hip hop, 90s R&B, and that's always my go-to. I try to stay in my lane. I like to play some of the new music, but the majority of the music I love to play, it's classic 90s.
Man, listen, the last event I went to was, what was it called? The Goddess Sovereign Ball. It was at what is that place called? You know what I'm talking about.
Where's that?
Right there off Schillinger's. Right now, it's leaving me, but a black lady owns it.
It's a little party room place?
They do a lot of weddings and all of that.
Oh, you talking about Prestige?
Not the Prestige.
Okay.
Not the Prestige. It's been around. It's been around.
Oh,
Golden Flame.
Yeah.
Golden Flame.
Yeah.
Listen.
Miss Spinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Bruh, you had us in there so live. Like, my wife still got the videos in her phone of how you had me and my family turning up.
Wow.
But I almost came up there with you.
Yeah.
On everything, just to tell you how cold you is.
Yeah.
Listen, you still got it.
I appreciate it.
If anybody ever doubt the skills, tell them I said you still got it.
I appreciate
That is for real, man.
That's dope, yeah.
So, at what point did it get, serious? Like, you was just like, okay, was it like the normal person between the ages of 18 and 20 something, or? Well,
it got serious for me when I knew that this is something that I wanted to make a real career out of. Is when WBLX used to be across the street from the Math and Science building before they moved down to the Zonte building on Dartford Street. That's when it was black owned and operated by Mr. Williams. It was called April Broadcasting, and I had just moved down here from New York. I had my turntable, my mixer, but I didn't have no speakers and stuff. I had this one little guitar speaker, and they had a DJ battle. And a lot of you all probably heard of, but really didn't know Greg KP, Greg Street.
Yeah, Greg Street.
Greg Street, he's from V103 in Atlanta. Well, Greg Street started his whole radio career here in Mobile.
So did Steve Harvey.
Yep, Steve Harvey did too. And it was Greg KP. And that's where he started at. And it was Greg Polk, and he used to be on a Friday night. He used to be on every day. At 6 o'clock is Greg KP. But then he used to do a mix show on Friday night. So anyway, BLX had this big battle at Bishop State. And all the DJs came out, and everybody was like, yo, you need to get in this battle. You can get them. So I went in and I set up, and Skip Cheatham and all the BLX, they rolled in these big old speakers. Greg KP came in, Dr. Ray, and about 5 other DJs. And everybody had these big speakers. I had this one little guitar amp sitting on this table in front of my turntables. So everybody, they met me. I went last because I guess I didn't have the big speaker.
Yeah.
So they went, Dr. Ray went, another DJ, DJ Wop, then Greg KP went and did his thing, and then I went.
Yeah.
But when I went, I DJ where I could scratch with my mouth, I scratched behind my back, I scratched with my elbows, and I was doing tricks with my hands, and then between the turntable and standing up on the table. And when I did it, they went crazy. Like everybody went
Real
crazy.
showman.
Yeah, that's the only battle I know, because when I was in New York, when you do DJ battles, we used to battle for sneakers, we used to battle for equipment, and you had to battle. You had to do. You couldn't. It wasn't just about playing on song and having everybody jump up. You had to do something. So when I did that, after it was over with, they gave it to Greg KP anyway.
Of course.
Yeah, but 2 days later, I got a phone call, and they called my house, because we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
Some people had those big walkie-talkie phones, but I ain't have no phone. So somebody called, and I asked someone and said, "Hey, this is Tony Brown at BLX. Hey man, we like what you was doing. Would you be interested in come down here and working at BLX?" And when I got that call, it was like, yeah, I can do this.
Wow.
And when I went down there, he was like, "Yo, you are really dope. We want to get you to BLX. We can start you off you can do the Saturday night mix show on the radio. Greg KP is going to do the Friday night, and you do the Saturday." But back then, we didn't have the CDs and all that to do the mix through the computer. We had reel-to-reels.
Yeah.
So I would go in on a Thursday or Friday and go back there in the production room and do my mix on the reel-to-reel. Had to splice it and put the little white pencil in there and take it and cut it and connect it. And people didn't know, but they ran the reel-to-reels. That's how we did it first.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's how we did the mixes, and it just started, man. God just started bringing me up and elevating my name, and everybody started getting me to DJ, and I was DJing it got to the point where I DJed 7 days a week. I DJ Monday at a thing called JR's. I DJ Tuesday at a place called The Galaxy. I DJ Wednesday at a place called The Equalizer and Cheers. I DJ Thursday at the Supermac. I DJ Friday at the Palladium. I DJ Saturday at a place over there called Vernon's Beach Club. And then Sunday I DJ at Vernon's Beach Club in the daytime. Then I go down and DJ at the place called The Solid Gold, where Ray, the heavyweight champion on the radio, 93 Bills, rest in power, Ray. He did the Apollo Style talent show. So I was DJing 7 days a week, and I was making like about $1,500 even back then.
A week?
Yes, a week. Just because I was making $250. That back then it was $250 a night instead of like $5 now. Like I make $500 to $700 now, but I'm making $250. But you got to remember, I was in a whole another space then. So I would take my money and I was trying to get hotel rooms, and girls was just like, oh my gosh. It was just crazy. Just women, just girls for days, hotel rooms, weed, Hennessy, smoking, partying.
Living the life that come along with that lifestyle.
Absolutely. I was just out there wilding and everything, man. And guys started getting my attention, because one day we rode to, that's when we was drinking 40s. Old English 40s, old English.
So they was actually drinking them here?
Yeah. Oh, man. Old English 40s, Colt 45, those kinds. So one day, me and my partners, we rode to Mississippi, because Mississippi is the only place you get the 40s from. And we rode across to Pascagoula and got the 40s. Now, this is God getting my attention, but I ain't thinking. So we riding back, it's raining, and we drinking and we smoking, and everybody, is about 5 of us in there. I'm on my Cherokee with the little rims, couldn't tell me that. So I'm so crazy in my madness. It's raining, it's cars lined up. I'm gonna try to go around the car on the side where you pull up if you get a tire. I'll try to go around. When I went around the car in the rain, the car spent 4 times. And the car spent 4 times, and I just knew I was just holding it, and everybody was, ah! And the car, it was God. And when it stopped spinning, we ended up right back going the same way, and we kept going. And everybody, when I tell you I turned the radio off, it was quiet than a church mouse. Nobody said nothing the rest of the ride home. But that was God trying to get my attention. But I didn't know it, because I still kept going. Yeah. I know you got to take a little time, don't you?
Oh, yeah. So we're going to take another break. You know what it is. What it do, family? This your boy Sid, a.k.a. King Dope, the king of all things dope. Hey, I just kind of let you know I just dropped another gem for you. Hey. What I need you to do is pick up your device, go to the nearest streaming app you have, wherever you listen to music. I'm letting you know I dropped an album to go along with the podcast. Yes. And to make it easy, I named it the same thing, A Vivid Mind. So, on wherever you like to find your music, look up A Vivid Mind. And it's by the artist known as King Dope. That it would be me. You can look up King Dope, KINGDOPE, or you can look up A Vivid Mind, and you will find my album. Check it out, man. I got some tunes on there for every type of situation. And every type of situation I got some tunes for involve getting to the bag. So, you know, make sure you hit the comments on this video if you have checked it out, and let the people know what you think. All right, so y'all survived the spin around.
Yeah, we survived. God tried to get my attention, wasn't paying attention.
He tried to get your attention so hard. He tried to get you to turn around to the point he literally spins you around.
Exactly.
And you just
kept going.
In
the madness, in the foolishness. And that was about 1990. When I started working at Bill X, it was like 87, 88, 89. Wow. I worked there for about 3 or 4 years. And then came 1991. I had a cousin, and she had a fiance, and he was a drug dealer. Mm-hmm. And when, we used to, drug dealers, they always set it out for everybody, their friends and everything. Yeah. So every Friday or Saturday, we would always go to his house, and everybody sit in the yard. He have all this liquor and anything you wanted, and, he was just like that. So one day he asked me why we were sitting over there, and I was drunk and high and out of my mind. Hey, man, you want to make about $200-300? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I make $200-300. What do I need to do? He said, just drop this package off. Somebody gonna meet you at the store in Pritchard. And it was a little package like this. Mm-hmm. And I ain't finna play it and act like I didn't know what it was. I know it was drugs.
Was it hard or was it soft?
It was hard. It was crack cocaine. It was crack, but I didn't know it was powder or crack, but I knew it was cocaine. Yeah. But it was wrapped up real good. So I went and dropped it off. Then a year and a half later, he got caught. And when he got caught, he told on like about 33 people. And guess who else he told on?
You?
Me. Even though I never sold drugs in my life or nothing. Man. See, that's how the conspiracy thing is, because Congress enacted a conspiracy law.
RICO.
And also another thing that happened during that supposed war on drugs, when the crack epidemic hit, that that if you get caught with crack, you get like 15. It was 15 to 1. The amount of time you get compared if you get caught with powder cocaine, because crack was so devastating on the black community. So it was a war on drugs. So even though the people that was on crack, and it's such a state of hypocrisy that we see it now by the opioids, opioid epidemic now, because now they're saying that the people that are on them, they are sick, they need treatment. Yeah. But when black people were on it, then everybody was criminalized. So everybody went to prison. So you had all a whole generation of fathers and stuff that instead of them getting them help, they sent everybody to prison. Yep. So that's the hypocrisy of the world we live in. But anyway, so he told on me, and I had to get a court-appointed lawyer, because I ain't had no money like that. Yeah. So I'm thinking, I ain't never been in trouble before, man. Everybody saying, you'll get probation. Nothing's gonna happen to you. Little did any of them know it, because they was green to how the system was. So when I finally went in there and the judge was giving me my time, he's like, everybody was like, he don't get no time. And what's crazy about it is that my lawyer said that we can fight this, or we can go, or we can just plea out. Yeah. And I was like, well, I ain't did nothing. I just dropped it all one time, and I admitted to that. He said, well, if you try to go to court, try to take them to check this to trial, then they're going to try to give you 15 to 20 years. But because you never been in trouble no more before, you'll probably not get that much. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking not that much. It's like maybe 18 months. Yeah. So I play it out. So I go in front of the Judge Butler. He had this old white guy with the glasses all the way down his nose, bald head. And he's like, because of the mandatory minimums that you're facing, that we're going to have to give you 84 months.
What?
Yes, that's what I said. That's what everybody and my parents, my mom and all my relatives was in there. You could hear them gasp. And they said, I'm going to have to give you 84 months. And I started, first thing in my head was 12 times 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm
12
doing.
12 times 6, 12 times 7. That's 7 years and 4 months. So I was telling my lawyer, I was like, what did I do? I never sold it. He said, that's the mandatory minimum. And you play it out. So I had to wind up doing.
And he ain't tell you that before.
Court-appointed lawyer, bro.
Man.
Black man, court-appointed lawyer. Black man, it's like oil and water. So, so what happened was, before I was getting ready, when I went to sentencing, it was on me so bad, and I broke down, and I just went in front of my family, and I'll never forget that day. I said, it's something I need to tell my mom. Mm-hmm. And I asked the judge, can I just come here and tell, And I got up there and I wanted to tell my mom that I was sorry. And I told my mom, it's something I want to tell you. I said, Mom, I've been holding this all my life. And I just want to tell you that the day when me and Spanky went out on that skateboard, that Spanky didn't fall off that skateboard. I said, Mom, I had him on my back. And when we went down the hill, we were shaking, and I lost control, and he fell backwards, and I fell frontwards. And I was crying, and in my family, everybody was crying because it took so much to do that.
I know.
But brother, when I told her this gorilla, this big weight, it just like everything just went off me. It was like, even though I was facing all this time, it didn't even matter then. Because I finally got that off me.
Yeah.
Because I was carrying that. And every day, and my brother was born the day before Thanksgiving. So every Thanksgiving when we would get together, that would be like one of the worst times for me because all my family would be together and Spanky wouldn't be there. And we would we would celebrate his birthday on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So when I finally was able to release that truth, even though I was finna go do this time, it's like I didn't even care about the time then. And it just released for me, and that's what happened. But so I just wanted to make that present that, when you have that on you, you eventually gonna have to deal with it, and it will lift a weight off you that you would not imagine, because that guilt is not a guilt. My mother said it wasn't your fault. He said, God just, that's just how things work.
It played out like that.
Yeah, but he said, you can't blame yourself, because y'all were just playing. You didn't have intentions on killing you, but you didn't know that was gonna happen. So that made me feel better, and then I was able to deal with what I was dealing with then. So I went into prison, and I started finally getting the chance to sober up and trying to see. And then
what they end up sending you?
First, they sent me to Softly Field in Pensacola. That's the Navy base.
Okay.
And then the Navy base is called FCI, Federal Prison Camp. And that's the lowest security that you can get.
Yeah,
you're not a
yeah,
threat.
anything federal.
Yeah. So they got minimal security, medium, and they got high. High is behind the wall. Medium is you're out in the middle of a facility that's out in the middle of nowhere. But the camp is where you are actually around people.
Okay.
But me knowing and me being green, didn't know anything better, I thought this was it. So about a year in, it was a lady who was the attorney general named Janet Reno, and they started talking about the crack law and the cocaine law, because the whole time I was like, this is too much time for me, never be in trouble. So it was a whole big thing in Congress about crack is being it's a disparity, because black, they said that it wasn't right, but they wouldn't change the laws. So one day I wrote up this stuff and put it on all in the walls and all the dorms, like, the black brothers need to come together and have a meeting, discuss this. You can't do that in federal prison, because they say that you're encouraging a demonstration or you're trying to start a riot. Yeah. So I didn't know that. Okay. But I do it, but I didn't know it.
Yeah, you ain't know that there would be consequences.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sitting in there, and I'm at in the lunch line finna eat lunch, and then these five police correctional officers come over there and say, come with us. And they took me and locked me up. They got a thing in the federal where they call it diesel therapy, where the people that they call troublemakers, they'll put you on a bus and ship you way away from there. But it'll take you about 5-6 months, because they'll drop you off at the county jail, leave you there overnight, then pick you up and take you another. They never leave you a place where you can call home. And so I did that for about 4 months. When I got, finally, they sent me to Miley, Michigan. That's like 10 minutes out of Detroit. When I finally got there, I had a beard and an afro and everything. I look like straight out of the jungle, bro. Just being honest. And I got there, and one day I was walking through the little facilities, 'cause I was going to the class, because one of the things I decided to do was to better myself and to take all these classes on resume, job, just things to better myself. And one day I was walking past a door, and I heard someone say, "You the original man. You the Asiatic black man that making the owner the cream of the planet Earth." She said, and then I heard this stuff, and it just resonated. It was just like drawing me to it. And I looked in there, and I seen a man on the picture, and it happened. I knew then it was Farrakhan, Mr. Farrakhan. Yeah. And I went in there, and it just drew me into it, man. And I sat there and listened, and that changed my life. It changed my life, and I decided to join the nation when I was in there. Okay. And I got out. and the support system that I was looking for that can there. See, that's when people say, you know, you go to prison. A lot of people say you go to prison and find religion or you find God.
Yeah.
Because God had to sit you down somewhere else.
Either you gonna find that or something way worse.
Exactly, and you'll stay into that madness. But I was able to. But when I got out, I didn't see that support system here because the nation wasn't really that relevant here. They had a little study group, so eventually I started easing back into easing back into the streets, and not necessarily the streets selling drugs, but start smoking again, start drinking, even though I still had a knowledge of what was going on, you know. So I did that, and I did that for a while, and I did that for about another 10 years, and it just so happened that when I finally got out, and God was steady trying to bring me back, trying. But one thing I did say that I didn't go back to was anything disrespecting our women, anything that I know that I used to do that I didn't do that anymore, and I took on mentorship. I started mentoring young men.
So that happened when you got out?
Yeah, when I got out. I decided that I told God that when I got out that I was never going back.
Of course.
I said I'll never go back, and that I would try to influence all the young men that I can and help them. And even though I was still in my on the fence, smoking my little weed, I still always never let my mentees see me doing that.
Okay.
And I always kept it 100 with them as far as, you know, giving them the right thing to do, even though I was still in my hypocrisy.
Yeah.
But so then it took me about another 5 or 10 years, and I finally came to the realization that God will not let me move any higher until I do right by myself. Do right by me, as far as you can't be a hypocrite. I can't go tell these young people stop smoking weed, and then as soon as I get home, I'm hitting my weed.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, that's where this has power over me. And if this has power over me, then I'm putting God second.
Yeah.
You know, even with my
people
drinking.
don't realize that, though.
Yeah. And so, and you can't think properly and function. I know people say, man, weed make me think better. Weed made me do this. Okay, you keep going through that. And like I said, I'm patient, and I understand where you at because I was there.
Yeah.
But eventually, you be like, yo, I can't function. And then the visions, when I be so fired up about certain things, then I hit that weed. It just be like, okay, I get to tomorrow. Oh, I get rid later. The next thing you know, it totally, you know, that's what it does. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
And eventually, all of us gonna have to come to that understanding. But you know, like I said, I don't blame nobody, I don't judge nobody, nothing. But everybody has their time. My time finally came, and it was about 1.5 years ago, about 2 years ago. I decided to stop smoking, stop drinking. I don't eat meat, chicken. I don't eat beef. I don't eat pork. I don't eat a lot of stuff that I used to eat, and it just like cleared my mind. I don't use the same soaps that everybody uses because these soaps have these ingredients. I don't use fluoride. You know, I use these natural things, and I use like this soap that have oatmeal in it.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. And ever since I've been on that, and I eat a spoon of sea moss every day as my diet supplement. I use a lot of herbs and stuff.
Where you getting your sea moss from?
A girl named Courtney Matthews. She's here. She actually transfers the sea moss and puts flavors in it. She'll put pineapple in it. She'll make pears, and she'll get that flavor instead of just being that raw sea moss. But she gets it raw, and she puts the flavor in it. It costs like $25 a jar. The jar will last you about 3 weeks.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I hook you up with it.
Okay. Man.
So I did that, bro, and that's where I'm at now. My whole point of everything since I've been on this mission is to get in here. I bring young people in, and I call my program is Broadcast University, and it's a comprehensive program for young people that gives them another different outlook on life. I teach conflict resolution. I teach the 3 different styles of behavior: passive, aggressive, and assertive. I teach them entrepreneurship. I teach them one of the narratives that I try to break up is that we tell our young people that you need to go to college to get a good education so you can get a good what?
Job.
We don't do that here. We say go to college, get you a good education, get the information so you can create your own job. You know, so everything that we do in this class is about entrepreneurship. As a matter of fact, next Thursday, I have a young man that Carter Tax Service. We're gonna give about 4 of our young people that are juniors and seniors their own LLC now.
That's
we're paying
amazing.
for it. Yeah, we're paying for it, and so we're gonna give them their own LLC, and they'll have their own business, and we're gonna give them their certificate that's stamped and sealed by the Secretary of State. So whenever they want to do, Whenever they want to do it, they already LLC and they have their situation going on. And then I have impact speakers coming in every week. All my children in here, my young people, when I ask them when they first come in to fill out a piece of paper, tell me what you want to be. And every one of those disciplines that they want to be, I've set up relationships with people that I can bring them in, and they can tell them what it takes. Like last week, the secret scientist, Tony.
I know Tony.
Davis.
Tony's been on the platform.
Yeah, Tony Davis. I had brought him in because I got 3 young people that want to start their own clothing brand.
Yeah.
So you have to let them see somebody that looks like them, so they'll know it's achievable.
That's right.
You know, and that's what we do. I don't have an archaic. I don't use an archaic teaching style. Like my whole teaching style is totally different. Like when we're doing tests or when they're doing something or exercise, I put on music. I let them hear their NBA Youngboy, the clean version.
Yeah.
But I let them hear their music. You know, I let them hear it, and it's not blasting, but it's so, yeah.
Because it motivates you.
Yeah, you see those 2 wooden things over there? Those are diffusers. Those are diffusers.
All diffusers.
Yeah, I use essential oils, and I use like lavender, frankincense.
You literally set the environment to stimulate their brain.
Exactly. And every morning when I come here, I pray to God, set the room, the spirit of the room, and the God with the God, and I also set the spirit when I call on my ancestors.
Okay.
And I ask for the spirit of the ancestors to come in here and just bring the positive of everything that needs to be in here to help me, to inspire us. And so we're always out of the box. It's never gonna be a boring moment in here. And I always try to teach them about everything, but I teach them in life lessons that they can relate to. And I think oftentimes, even in religion, when we talk about our Quran, we talk about our Bible, we often talk about the people back then. And when we talk about back then, we kind of lose some of our young people. If we put those people that we see back then, those people that are in the Bible and the Quran, we put them in today's thing, today's setting, I think we'll reach more of them and those lessons and those things.
Because those lessons that are in the word, it is relevant.
Absolutely.
Like people are acting like it's different. No, literally everything that is, they have a form of technology.
Yes.
They used it in order to build propaganda, in order to control the population.
Absolutely.
You read all of it, and all of God's people, you get to see the good and the bad in the whole thing.
Absolutely.
That's basically what it is. It's a template. If you make these decisions in this situation, you will end up as such.
Absolutely. And if you can't put if our young people can't see themselves in those books, then what good are the books serving them?
Exactly.
You have to bring them in, and the way we talk about it, they get it.
Yeah.
So we started the first week. It was rough because everybody's getting to know each other. They had to fill me out and see what I am. But as the weeks perspire, every morning we have to start off opening prayer.
Okay.
God has to be there every week. I said it's a circle up. They already know. So in the first couple of weeks, you got to stop playing, stop squeezing their hands, stop touching their hands, stop doing that. This is your 40 seconds, your 50 seconds to be clear. You clear your mind and to ask God to listen and hear you. And it's just a different circle. And that's what we do. And when we finish our class, we finish a prayer.
Yeah.
Because I believe that you can't do nothing without God.
That is correct.
So that's where we at, brother. And this room was bare, and I showed you the other rooms, but I'm getting this room together. God keeps giving me different stuff, and God keeps telling me, speak out for those voiceless, and I'm gonna keep on agitating. I don't care about hurting nobody's feelings. They can't scare me or try to put fear in me about a job because I'm self-employed. I work for myself.
Yeah, you ain't never had a real job.
Exactly. I never really, other than the radio station, that really wasn't a real job.
Yeah.
I always worked for myself. So in order to walk, like I said, you can't talk, you got to walk it.
That's right.
So, but I'm gonna hold people accountable. And and that's why I believe God put me in this place right here at the right time. And eventually, my vision, what He's given us, and I work with Out for Entertainers, Dirty Dan, is that this eventually, and I'm saying it right now, so it'll be on record. This place, in 2 to 3 more years, will be the Ray Russell Cultural and Performing Arts Center.
Wow. And we will support it.
That's what this will be. This is not just going to be this building. We're going to have another building on this site, too. It's going to be the Ray Russell Cultural and Performing Arts Center. This is what I'm telling you today, with the vision that God giving me and giving us, and we're going to go out there in the field, and we're going to work it, and we're going to make it happen. So I'm telling you right now.
Well, honestly, it ain't nothing else left to be said.
I can tell you one more thing.
All right, we ready for it.
And this is for all the people out there that's listening. When we're trying to discern about people that we come in contact with, one of the two things I want to tell you, if a person's not trying to help you to be better spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, then if you just talking, you ain't talking about nothing. When people around you, when they know who you are, they're not going to talk. Now, I know young people like to talk, they talk their little talk, but if your conversation is constantly not talking about those 5 things, then you might need to find some other people to be around. And if you're the smartest person in your circle,
that's a problem.
Definitely.
That is a big problem.
Definitely need to find another circle, because I'm not the smartest person in my circle. I try to be around people that are doing things, people that are already doing great things. I tell my kids, my children, I don't want to call them kids, tell my children, my young people all the time, that if I'm trying to make $1 million, I'm not going to hang around nobody broke.
What you say?
I want to hang around millionaires.
Your net worth is the average of your circle of friends.
Absolutely.
So that means take how much each one of you make for the whole year, divided by how many of y'all it is, and that's how much money you are destined to make the rest of your life. If you don't like that number, you have to tell them, I love y'all, but I got to hang with somebody else.
Absolutely. And the second thing is this, mind reading. There's, it used to be a thing on Star Trek when they tell Spock, tell us what she said, and Spock will go and do this right here.
Yeah.
And do that. Well, let me tell you something. It's a simpler form for mind reading. And just remember this, mind reading. When you read a person's mind, a lot of it is stemmed to a person's action, the company they keep. It's a formula to mind reading. Words are symbols of ideas. Paying close attention to a person's words constitutes 1/3 of the actual science of mind reading and character determination. Mm-hmm. The other 2/3 consists of a person's actions and the company they keep. I'm gonna tell you how it happened. When I was in prison, I had a roommate. I had beautiful sisters. He said, man, boy, your sisters is bad. Man, what you met with your sister? Now, in the back of my mind, saying, this dude in jail with me, how do you think I'm going to hook him up with my sister? But I'm giving the benefit that I say, all right, I'm going to see. Remember, words are symbols of ideas. Paying close attention to a person's words constitutes 1/3 of actual science of mind reading and character determination. The other 2/3 consists of a person's actions and the company they keep. Mm-hmm. We in the TV room. So in the prison, in the TV room, you got to have earphones on because everybody, the music, the radio, the TV can't be up loud. So we listening. Soul Train come on. The sister's coming down the hall, the Soul Train. This dude get up, grab himself. Ooh, I'm gonna tear that bee up. Wow, I'll make that bee suck this and look. This the same dude that just asked me about my sister.
So now you know what he trying to do with your sister.
Words are symbols of ideas, and paying close attention to a person's actions, that tells you about mind reading and who it is. So the same thing. If you want to know something about somebody that comes in your circle, comes around you, and you really want to know about them, just shut up. Just be quiet and let them talk. They'll tell you everything they need to tell you about who they are and what they are, and you'll know how to deal with them and navigate and GPS them, and if this is the person I need to be around or not be around.
That's facts. And if somebody talk too much about a thing, they don't know nothing about that
exactly.
thing.
That's it.
That's it. Hey, well, I just got one last thought for y'all, and it's really based off of what he just said. Thoughts become things, things become habits, habits become problems if you don't follow the right structure. See, because those habits become deeds, deeds become seeds that grow into trees, and you cannot predict how far out those leaves will grow.
That's dope. That's that gems. That's that wisdom, that nuggets, baby. I love that, man.
Hey, man. Y'all know why we here. Once again, it's your boy Sid, the king of all things dope, King Dope. Reminding you once again to live humble and prosper. Thank you.
I've been through a lot. And only one thing ever really sticks to me. No matter what I go through, it always affects me. When I hustle up or don't have a dime, I'ma go mine. Good times and the bad times, they heavy on my mind. Tapered up, arm starts down. Either way is mine. I feel fine, but everything around affect my vivid mind.